What's up, everybody? This is your boy KhoolTy coming right back at you. You guys, we are in for a big treat today. I was on a deep dive combing through some social media stuff and I ran across these guys and this RPG game, which I am just so excited to show you and let you guys hear all about what these guys are doing. This is Next Arc Studios, and welcome to the show. And I'm going to let these guys introduce themselves because, listen, as new as they are to you guys, they're also new to me. We've been chopping it up a little bit, but they're also new to me. So we're going to let them introduce themselves and we're going to jump right into this interview. So everybody out there, thank you for tuning in. This is KhoolTy Comic Book Hit List, and we are here with Next Arc Studios. Gentlemen, welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having
me. Yeah, happy to be here. Thank you.
All right. So who's gonna go first? Somebody jump in. 1, 2, 3. Chop it up. Tell me a little bit about you and how you did it.
Fearless leader, go for it.
Let's go with fearless leader. Let's go.
Take the charge. Well, since they put me on the spot, what's up, everybody? My name's David Garinger, also known as D Major. I'm one of the creative directors, composers, and editors. I do a lot of different stuff. I think creative director is probably the best description. But I help other indie creators bring their projects to life with our team, Next Arc Studios, whether that be animation, games, comic books. We do a little bit of all of it. So yeah, that's me. I'll pass it to Oddball.
Hi, I'm Deontay Oddball. I am resident singer, world builder, connections guy of the team. Work on a lot of stuff involving getting us involved with local stores and getting us connected with other people involved in the industry. And we'll pass it to John, DTB.
Yo, what's up, everybody? I'm John Garinger, also known as DT Buckle, and I am a co-creator for Janken Justu, our game. I'm also the technical designer, so I handle a lot of the back-end technical stuff. Like I designed our virtual tabletop. I set up things related to our website. I set up like internal things related to just how we track our projects and the progress we make towards those. And yeah, anything technical, that is my space. And then I also, on the creative side, I do video editing, I am story editor, and then also pro idea bouncer or creative consultant.
All right.
So really helping people understand their ideas, what they're going for, and how to really turn that into something.
I think that means you're the brain trust.
I try.
Okay. So tell us, what is Janken Justu?
Janken Justu. So first, if I can start with what we do is Next Arc Studio. So the goal of us coming together is really similar to how you were mentioning your concept for doing the comic book hit list. And that was, we wanted to create a platform and more attention around indie projects, especially things that sort of push the boundaries in terms of opening people's minds in terms of different perspectives. And I mean, that can take a lot of different forms, but we're really dedicated in promoting the next generation of storytelling, games, animation, hence the name Next Arc Studios. So it's the new story arc.
Gotcha.
So from that, we got into Janken Justu. It's a rock, paper, scissors battle card game. So if you like ninjas, if you like fighting games, it's a good chance you'll love this game too. It was sort of a brainchild of all of the different work that we had done up until this point. Before the pandemic, we would frequent conventions and we would just like make up different things to do. If you go to our YouTube channel, Next Arc Studios, you'll see the Lobby Chronicles, which is just us having random games and doing different shenanigans with people at anime conventions. But one of those games was Janken Justu. And when the world shut down for those years, we weren't really sure how we could keep this game that we made up alive. So we went through a lot of different iterations and eventually settled on making it a card game. And prior to this, we've been working with a lot of indie comic creators, animators, graphic designers doing audio work. So whether that was like making music for theme songs for different comics, we've done about 50 different indie theme songs at this point. And we got into motion comics. So as we developed these networks with other people, it became more of a reality to be able to produce a card game, because it takes a lot of work and a lot of people. It's more than just the 3 people you see here that it took to make the card game.
Listen, I have to tell you, I am completely amazed and in awe that you guys came up with this idea. I'm a teacher. A lot of my students are constantly writing ideas and wanting to create video game worlds. They want to write the storyline for a video game. Did you guys have this exact same thing when you were younger? Is that what kind of sparked you guys to write this world, which became a card game?
Oh yeah. Specifically, I know for a fact, I did not know David in high school. Me and John in high school would absolutely just sit in the library and just talk for like 2-3 hours after school about various different anime and video game worlds, and how we would change them if we could, how we would write similar stories, how we would operate on similar tropes, and kind of this whole thing kind of spawned from a similar thing where we were all, the 3 of us were all at a convention, and we got to talking about falconry, and we started joking about making a sports anime about falconry, and that turned into one of our first story ideas that we formed around, called, I was about to call it Bad Hair Days, called Falcon Cry.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I would definitely say we've all had that creative spirit since we were younger. Like yeah, mentioned, we would talk for hours about different story ideas, stories that are out there, stories that we wish were out there. I will say, in my personal experience, I never thought that I'd make a card game. I've sat down and thought about, like, oh, it'd be cool to make a game, but it would be so hard to figure out the rules, figure out the balancing, figure out the mechanics of it. And it wasn't until we had something really, really simple to work off of that I could really see the future of it as a game. So it's interesting how, like, on your creative journey, you can really go in directions you never really thought you would until you actually saw that pristine opportunity to go for it, and then you can do things you never thought you would.
I would agree, man. I have to tell you, I've been a writer all the way back in elementary school. I was winning writing awards and entering writing contests,
Okay.
and that spawned, I had been writing. I'd traveled around the world, and every time I go someplace, either within the US or out, I would write poetry. And so when
Nice.
COVID came, I just compiled hundreds of poems that I had written for the last 20, 30 years. And I just pulled them from old emails and old binders and notebooks, and I just put them all together. So I know when those creative juices come, man, they just come like a tsunami, and they just will not stop.
Oh yeah.
Listen, kudos to you guys. Kudos to you guys. Kudos. How did you come up with the name? And let's talk about some of these characters.
Oh, I love talking about the name because I'm just a huge nerd. So, Janken Jutsu is a combination of 2 ideas. First, there is Janken, which is the Japanese Janken Po, which is your traditional rock, paper, scissors.
Janken Po, Eileen Schultz. So I lived in Japan
Yep.
for years, by the way.
Oh, yep. Okay, so you probably already get the
Oh
name.
yeah, man. My students played this game all the time. They taught me all of this stuff.
Yep. So the Janken just refers to the idea of rock, paper, scissors, it being like a rock, paper, scissors style card game. And then Jutsu, also Japanese for techniques, refers to sort of the secret sauce that we as Next Arc Studios added to the idea of rock, paper, scissors.
It's a
With
great
various
name.
techniques. These techniques will help you really manipulate what would just be a standard rock, paper, scissors game, like letting you switch out your options, influencing what options your opponent has at play, influencing the resources that are available to them to be able to either throw rock, paper, scissors, but we'll get into that later. But it's the idea of various techniques that make it an advanced form of rock, paper, scissors.
Wow.
So it's like rock, paper, scissors techniques would be the direct English translation.
Okay. That's a great name. Great name. Great merging of the two as well.
Oh yeah, thank you.
So the characters, the art, whose brainchild was that? How did those come about?
All right, time to give a shout out to all the different artists.
There we
Oh,
go.
yeah.
Let's get it. You just go down the line, my
Yeah,
man.
name
Go
drop.
down the line.
So I know
Run
you're
it.
seeing some art in my background and John's background. That was all done by our very good friend Menes Salas, who is extremely talented artist from Spain. He works on a lot of different comics. I met him through my work, doing music and audio for different people's projects, and we started working together on this. He's got a lot of his own comics, and as you can see, it's top tier. It definitely
Shouts out
catches
the
your eye
ancient
when you
blood.
see it.
Oh yeah.
I would definitely have to say, once I started scrolling and I was looking at the box and the art and how I was really blown away. And that was one of the things, like the game itself, like to see the unboxing and to see the brothers doing their thing and then seeing the artwork, it was just so enticing. Like you guys created this beautiful world. That must make y'all feel kind of like, oh my gosh, look what I've done, right?
Yeah, it was
Look what
Oh, yeah.
we've done.
Yeah,
It's,
it was
there was at least 15 people involved in this project and at least 5 artists.
easily, dozens of different testers or our friends that we played card games with in high school and people that we met along the way. It's definitely more than we could have imagined, and it's because of the community that came together to help create it with us.
Okay. So you said this is kind of I can't remember your words exactly. This is a rock, paper, scissors, but with a higher level of rock, paper, scissors. How can one play the game, or how do the options change? Because all I know is rock, paper, scissors, right? So you guys have gone to this next level and created options within that. How does some of that work out throughout the game?
Well, I think we can show you better than we can tell you.
Okay. When you guys came up with this trailer, you said your idea was to turn this into a comic book. How many issues? Who's writing it? Tell us more about the origin story. Or if you can give us that information, or how about without spoilers, whatever you can give us.
I think there's still a lot that we need to figure out because with designing a game, it's a whole beast. It's a whole business within of itself, and we do think that it's important to be focused in your approach. So we have written other stories. We intentionally decided to push the card game because we knew having a physical product could be good for our business and help bring in revenue for other things. So there's a lot of details we still would need to iron out for the comic. But in terms of the origin story, the story goes: there's a village called Po Village, and this is during sort of the warring time in Japan. So they enlist some samurai to come to the village and help to protect it from different threats and enemies that come through. Eventually, the samurais ended up extorting the people, and the people of the village revolted because they felt like they were being subjugated to worse treatment than if the samurais were there. So some of the ninjas that you see in the artwork are those first ninjas who stood up against the samurai. They were captured and sort of through their own resolve unlocked these special abilities, which are the jutsus and the techniques. So now that they were able to defeat the samurai, get them out of the Po village, the story starts many years past that. So these techniques and things of that nature are no longer necessary to protect their village. But the way that they preserve that culture is through Janken Justu. So it's sort of like a game and a tournament that they have every few years to see who is the ninja with the best techniques.
Oh wow, this is a tournament.
It's like
this keeps
it's a
getting
ninja
better and better.
NFL. Ninja NFL, basically.
This keeps getting better and better, man. It's a tournament. Wow. Okay.
Oh, yeah. So the Janken Justu tournament is where the ninja have been training for years, and they come and show off all of their crazy techniques, and to see who will be crowned as the next top ninja of the village.
Okay. So you know what? We're gonna pause. Let's take a look at this video right now so everybody can see it.
My great-grandfather used to tell me stories about the era of war. Bloodthirsty warlords constantly fought over land and power. Our people had no choice but to hire samurai to protect the villages. However, their protection came at a cost. The samurai became ruthless, extorting villages for whatever they could take. 4 brave warriors took arms against the samurai, but they were no match and captured. Now prisoners, the warriors were forced to work as ninja. Pushed to their utmost limits, their unwavering resolve led each ninja to encounter a unique spirit. These spirits revealed to them an internal energy known as chakra. By harnessing this energy, the ninja created powerful jutsu to defeat the samurai and finally restore peace to our land. That was a long time ago, and nowadays there's really no need for such deadly techniques. Instead, to honor Poe's ninja heritage, a sport emerged. Clans train in secret, developing new spectacular jutsu in preparation for a grand tournament. Janken Justu, that's where I'll compete. For honor, glory, and for my chance to leave my mark on ninja history.
Listen, love the video. Amazing graphics. It's really good. Who was the writer, producer of this thing?
All of us.
All of you. Hey, I like that.
it was
Everybody got
entirely
together.
a
You created the. Okay, so listen, dope trailer, man. Absolutely. So
Another shout out to Minez for the art, and huge shout out to Taylor Ruiz for the voice acting. She is phenomenal.
okay, so yeah,
Oh,
let's
yeah.
make sure we link to all of those people here in the comments and into this video so we can bring them in as well, because we want to show our gratitude for the work that they're putting in to create this wonderful project. So what age would you say people can start playing the game?
It's funny that you say that because there are 2 people who are 4 who are going at it.
Oh yeah.
in our game. So we can say for sure 4-year-olds can play it.
Really?
Oh yeah.
If
Okay.
you can count, you can play it. more or
Okay.
less.
Who are these 4-year-olds?
4-year-olds, shout out to Kiba, his daughter.
Yeah, it's one of our top
And
players, so of course his daughter is gonna be knowing what she's
Oh,
doing
yeah.
when she's on the battlefield.
Pedigree.
and then our
Oh,
friend
yeah.
Comet, his son was playing. So
Okay.
shout out to them.
So I'm guessing your daughter thinks she can just hand you your hat in this game, huh?
We've had some
She's
matches.
done quite well.
We had some matches where people joined in and just started playing, and they didn't realize they were playing a 4-year-old and got washed.
Wow. Wow. So people are able to interact with this live video through your different social medias, or they're playing like in a particular setting?
So right now we have our Discord, where if you join our mailing list, it'll give you an invite to our Discord server. That's going to enable you to play online with the rest of our community. We do also have physical copies that we do sell on like very special occasions, or we have certain events where we might auction off or raffle off a physical copy of the game. So some people, a lot of our early adopters, a lot of the people who were part of the beta testing, they have physical copies as part of our very first like launch sale. But primarily anybody who wants to play, anybody watching who wants to play, sign up for our email list. We'll invite you to our Discord and you can play online with the rest of our community of players. I think we have over about 100 people in our Discord server right now.
Okay. And so these are virtual cards during this virtual game.
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
And how often are you guys playing, and what's the feedback that you guys are getting from the people that are playing it?
Well, we play every Saturday. Saturday is at least our scheduled day where the 3 of us as admins will come in to play. And then we also have events throughout the week. Sometimes we have days where we test out new card effects, so people can get a sense of what's coming down the pipe in the game. Sometimes we have like special boss battle events where people get to try to play us as the admins. And then also people are able to schedule games to play amongst themselves whenever. So we aren't like a barrier to people playing. As long as you're in the server, then you can find anybody to play with at any time. And the more people you play, the more points you get, the more cards you get to use, the more abilities you have. And the game sort of grows with or develops with your experience once you join
Gotcha.
the community.
Gotcha. What's some of the feedback you're getting? What's some positives and what's some not maybe not negative? I like to use the word delta. What are your delta to things that
Constructive.
yeah. What are your constructive feedbacks that you guys are getting?
I mean, it's honestly, it's surprising how little negative feedback there is. Not to sound like conceited, but we've been to Proto Spiel, which is the game design convention. I'm in a few different like gaming Discord, so we play with a lot of people. I mean, at this point, we've probably done around 500 or 600 matches. People really like that it's a fast-paced game. You can play a game 5-10 minutes. The more advanced versions, maybe like 15-20 if you're really thinking about it. But you know, the fact that you can get a quick game in is pretty refreshing. I think some card games can last a little bit longer, or just games in general. So this is nice when you want to have a quick experience. It's really accessible to all ages. Like I said, we had two people who were 4 who were playing the game and understanding, you know, the way to manage resources. So it can be really good for young people to learn critical thinking and start developing some of those other
Good
skills.
point. Yeah, good point.
I'm a teacher as well, so you know I definitely notice things like that.
Yeah, man. Listen, I think having anyone, but definitely younger people, be able to develop those critical thinking skills. And I know a lot of these games, whether it's Magic and Pokemon and Digimon and just the array of games that come out, they're all helping develop that critical thinking, that creative skill. And so I'm guessing you're going to say that your game is on par with these games. And if someone says, well, you guys are a new company, man, how can your game be on par with all these other companies?
So I know this game is on par because it's not just our opinion. We've played this game with over 100 different people whom have all given us very stellar reviews about it. And even when we have feedback, the feedback's never really about the core mechanics of the game. It's more so about how we present the instructions, making sure that we're teaching people in accordance with like their skill level in terms of as a gamer. Are they casual? Are they more experienced? Are they competitive? So it's more so just how we're actually introducing the game to people. But once it clicks, everyone loves it. And that's, again, over 100 people always taking the feedback to heart and making sure that we're iterating on that. So by the time we get to this final product, it isn't just my opinion or David's or Deontay's.
Right.
It is the opinion of over 100 people, because we've taken in all of that information and we've distilled it down into something that we feel is the most compact but jam-packed and explosive kind of product that we could make it.
Yeah.
I like to think of it as you're getting the same experience as like a 40 deck card game in a handful of no more than 8 cards.
Wow.
And to have an experience like that makes it super competitive because the production's a lot cheaper. It's a lot easier for people to understand. You don't have to spend hours trying to build a deck just to get started. You can pick up 4 cards and be able to play the game right out of the box.
Wow.
And it's because of all of those factors that I think it competes really heavily. It's just a matter of getting that exposure, because once people play the game, they are hooked.
Yeah, because clearly your test subjects are digging it, loving it, falling in love with it. How are you guys working at getting it to the next level to where we can see, or we can find Janken Justu in every comic shop, in every card shop, in every gaming shop around the world? Definitely the nation first, right? But definitely then after that, the world.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
you
some
got
of the things that we are planning on doing a Kickstarter. Some of the prerequisites to that, we're trying to boost the numbers on our email list so there are more people. So again, we really appreciate you for having us on, because you know, just being able to be on cool platforms and tell people who are, you know, also looking for things like this is really helpful for us. So can't thank you enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
We are also looking for mass producer for, a different distributor that we can produce the game at a little bit less cost. That way we'll be able to pass those savings on to everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be able to fulfill bigger orders. Currently, it would take 4 to 5 months if we were sending out even more than 10 copies. So
Really?
I don't want people to
Okay.
have to wait for that.
Right.
And fortunately, we've been meeting a lot of people in the game design space who've given us a lot of really great feedback about grants we can apply for, and how to create RFQs, and all the different business stuff.
Right.
Right now, we're looking for a mass producer for for printing service. And once we have that, you'll be seeing a Kickstarter from us probably in 4 months.
That sounds great. Listen, I know the Kickstarter is a big way to get it out there, but I think you guys have already created these test subjects who can kind of be your these are like, you basically created a street team, right? You created a street team, and they're gonna go word of mouth telling everybody. And I definitely wish you guys the best of luck. But you know what? I'm gonna pause for a minute because I haven't done something. You guys tell everybody how to reach you, and I'm gonna put the graphics up, but let's take a quick commercial break, and you guys tell everybody how to reach you, how to connect with you.
Best way to reach us is Next Arc Studios on Facebook or on Instagram. Pretty frequent there. I'm often checking the messages, so you can reach out to us on either one of those platforms. That's probably the best. And from there, you can also see our link tree and see all the different projects, videos, music, stories we've helped people with, and of course, sign up for Janken Justu. Get in on the action.
Listen, you guys better out there. You
list.
better sign up and get on that mailing list so you can get into playing these games, because I want to play some of you guys out there. So Next Arc Studio also does music. How did you guys listen, comics and anime, all of that, the music stuff merges together. I even used one of my favorite anime is Princess Mononoke Hime, and there's a song in there that I sampled it in a rap song years ago. How are you guys using your music into the video game, and tell me more about the music side of Next Arc Studios?
For sure. So I do a lot of the composing, sound engineering. John's a great voice actor. Deontay is a great singer. So we definitely have a lot of projects together. But I sort of got into it during the pandemic. Had a lot of free time, and I would reach out to different comic creators and offer to make musical fan art. They were like, "What is that? I've never heard of such a thing." It's like, I'm glad you asked. So I would just make music that was inspired by their story. So if they were willing to send me some pages of the comics or whatever, I would take that, read it, and then create some music inspired by it.
Oh man, I feel we're gonna be working together well.
Oh yeah, I hope so. So after doing about 20 or 30 of those, people started hitting me up and said, "Hey, can I buy this?" And that sort of got me into the space of getting commissioned to compose music for these different projects. After I'd done that for a while, I started getting into sound design. So not only adding music, but also adding like sound effects and ambiance, soundscaping for different projects, primarily audio comics. Me and my brother John are both visually impaired. So to be able to create audio stories of comics that other people that may not be able to read, it just gives more accessibility to that space.
Man, that is what's up for real. Dante, how long you been singing, man?
Pretty much my whole life. Specifically, my origin story for wanting to be a singer is the song "You Got It Bad" by Usher.
Yeah.
I heard it on the radio for the first time when I was like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And just a wave of feelings, and I'm just like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, is make other people feel like this.
Yeah. I would have to agree.
I absolutely have to shout out D Major, Mikey. I am a Power Rangers kid, whole life, have been. And the guy who composes and does a lot of the music for Power Rangers, Ron Wasserman, has been an amazing inspiration my entire life, and Mikey is one of very few people that I've ever found on the planet who makes music that gives me that hype.
Wow.
That gives me that go
Yeah.
Green Ranger go hype.
Yeah, I feel you.
Thank you so
Listen,
much, man.
when an artist finds a producer, an engineer, a composer who gets their intention and gets the lyrics that they're putting down, something special happens, man. Because I have to give a shout out to my producer, my co-producer, engineer, Will Williams, Sci One Music. You know,
Woo!
I met him in San Francisco when I lived in the Bay, and I had already had projects that I brought in music. Like, let's make this better. Once he started letting me listen to what he's writing and composing and creating, it just, oh my gosh, it just blew up. So I hear the excitement in your voice. And listen, I don't talk about this much because I know music takes a long time for me, right? Because I got life things happening. My oldest daughter just went to college, but there is a new album coming, and it is practically done, and it is going to be blazing hot. Ooh, it's going to be so good.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah, keep it in ear
absolutely.
out.
So
Flex
when you
that.
were,
Flex that.
oh man, I'm gonna flex it for real. So David, when you started doing the fan music, you got a lot of great positive feedback. So what is your musical style, and are you bringing that same style into Janken Jutsu, or are you bringing a different style in?
I think my musical style is what got me so much acclaim, and that's I have no style. My style
I
is
like.
immersion in terms
Okay.
of what I specialize in is looking at your story, taking the references that you give me, and bringing that out, putting that DNA into the song. So when
Yeah.
people hear the song, they feel your series. And
Wow.
usually, what I always look for when I send someone music that I'm working on for them is that I love it. And
Yeah.
99% of the time, I get it. And I like, sometimes you do a commission and people are like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll work. That's good. Nah, you're like, I love this.
Yes. I have to piggyback on that. I tell myself the music that I create would also be the music that I would buy.
Mm-hmm.
It would be the music that I would go in and listen to and pick up and go, man, I like that beat. Man, I like those lyrics. And sometimes I have to rewrite lyrics and go back and redo songs. So here's a
Yep.
big question, a constructive question.
Mm-hmm.
What did you create within the game that you said, nah, this not gonna work? I got to go back and do this all over again. Have you guys had any moments like that?
Oh yeah. So many of the jutsu have been rethought and tweaked, and
Oh yeah.
we're
On a
playing
card by
with it
card
for a
basis.
while. Yeah, we're playing with it for a while, and we're like, oh, this is really strong, and this holds down and oppresses the game. So we gotta rethink how we're handling this, or rethink this rule or ruling. There's been a lot of tweaks behind the scenes, which is helped by our amazing community,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which does not hold back on giving us feedback and letting us know how they feel about the various aspects of the game.
Yeah. Boy, that's worth $1 million.
Oh
Ain't
yeah.
it?
Oh yeah. Very many conversations of this is OP. No, it's not. Want me to prove it? Go ahead and try. And then it just turns into a nice 3-match game.
Right.
But also keeping in mind cards that people aren't using and making sure that we're giving those the love that they need so that it feels like every card in the game is worth using. It's just a matter of when do you want to take the chance on it. So that's definitely a big factor as well. As far as like the core game mechanics go, not much has really changed in terms of like we've decided to stop doing something and start doing something else. It's more so been like an additive process where like we have something good, how can we build on it? How can we build on that? And with these new iterations, how is that reinforcing what we already have so we aren't power creeping cards out of being useful? So that's something that we always try to keep in mind is when we are making new cards, making sure that they aren't phasing out the old ones. If old ones aren't being used, how can we scale them up so that they feel more competitive with the new ones? And a lot of it just comes from feedback from our player base, seeing how people play and use certain cards, and then just sort of tweaking the game off of that. We are a very feedback-based kind of team where we will iterate on things based on the feedback that we get if we really feel like it's going to improve everyone's experience.
Oh yeah. And in terms of like that aspect with music, I don't go back and redo something. When I finished it, it was done. It's a time capsule.
I'm done. I put my stamp on it. Bam, bam. I ain't going back and look at it because it's that hot.
Like if and I mean like, yeah, there's definitely things that I listen to and I'm like, you know, my mixing has improved a lot since then. But that's why I keep it that way. Like unless it needs to be used again, if it's just like if it's in the past, I'm not gonna go back and change it. If someone recently one of my friends he's doing a Kickstarter for his comic book, so he wanted to use the music for it. So yeah, I went back and I mixed it because it needed an updated version because it was for something new. But generally I like to be able to look back and see my progress. And if you're constantly like going back and trying to fix things because you can do it better now, you're missing out on that better project that you can make.
That's a good point, because oftentimes I listen to something I've created and I'll go, man, I need to do that differently. I need to go back and do that better. But then the producer in me is like, no, you need to stop and leave it alone. But the creative in me is like, I need to go back and redo that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you mentioned something. You could be, if you spend time going back, you're missing out on the new project. Well, the new project could be the future. What is the future of this company and the card game and the music and the comics? What is your grand future plan? John liked that question, doesn't he?
Your next arc starts here.
The next arc really does start here. There is Next Arc Studio, given the people we've reached out to, all the ideas that we've had, the excitement that we're building and will continue to build, like I see it as Next Arc has this potential to be its own network. We have dozens of indie stories that we're working on that we want to support. We have Janken Justu is only one game. We have 3 other games that have already been conceptualized and designed.
Wow. And
there is so much that we've been working on. Just slight context. Next Arc Studios, we've been doing this for maybe around like 7-ish years. So the true like giant pie in the sky goal that I see is Next Arc Studios being its own network of indie fueled content, where if you want to support indie creators and you want to get into that scene, we're going to be the first place you look to find that curated list of stories, games, music, any kind of content that could be created by an indie type of person or individual creator. Like we want to be able to amplify that so we can create the next generation of what's going to be classic stories.
Wow. That is a freaking fantastic answer.
Oh yeah.
That is a fantastic answer. Someone else, what else would you see the future of Next Arc Studios?
Wow.
As my daughter runs through the back.
You're good, dude.
Anyway, go ahead.
I think piggybacking on John's answer, I think our big thing is just being able to bring a lot of different worlds and a lot of different experiences to people who otherwise wouldn't be able to really get into them. Like as Mikey was saying earlier, with audio comics and the visually impaired, and opening up stories to people who physically otherwise might not be able to enjoy them, with curating those experiences to people so that they know how to get into all these different worlds and these different stories. And because I've experienced that a lot, where so many people are interested in a lot of these things and interested in getting into more comic universes and interested in getting into tabletop gaming, and there's no idea of where do I start, what do I do, how do I begin this. And I think that's one of our big advantages, is that we have all been newbies, and we have all taught newbies, and we are very good at giving people a jump off point to get into all of these things that we are also interested in.
That's great, man, because I know a lot of people, even me, I've written a few comic book stories. I have 2, 3 children's books in the works. Art's done on another one. Another one's being worked on currently, waiting for a digital colorist to put it all together and do all those wonderful things. People sometimes get so lost at where do I even start? And it sounds like you guys have kind of positioned yourself in a position to say, not only are we here to tell you how we started, but we can actually give you some of this. We can give you some of this game so you can also start your own as well.
And
Your next start starts here. Yeah, your next start starts here.
So would it be safe to say that you guys are looking for other people who are wanting to start games and start different things to come to you and say, hey, you guys help us with this so we can, I need to move my idea forward. You guys help me with this. Is that also one of the sides of the businesses that you guys are also building?
Absolutely. Creative consultant, whether that be on the development side, whether that be on the implementation side. Granted, there's a lot that we still are learning, but there's also a lot that we have learned from, whether that be through the work that we've personally done or the work that we've done with other people in our networks of people who have, been in the comics or game industry for, 10, 15, 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big resource to pull from if you're working with us to kind of grow your project.
Yeah.
I like to say that if we do not have your answer, we can probably connect you to your answer.
There you go.
Because if we don't know it, we know somebody who knows.
Yeah.
100%.
I as I'm listening to you guys talk, I'm taken to Image Comics, Milestone Comics. You have these magnificent brains, creators, artists, talent who put in time and energy and effort, put in some work, created this great thing, and now we're going to help other people build and grow as well. So I am so happy that you guys took this interview, and I appreciate and I am honored to have this interview with you guys, and thank you guys for your time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Next Arc Studio. We could go on and on, but we better stop because, we don't do crazy long videos here. But I want to thank Dante and David and John for coming in. And I also would be remiss if I do not mention the plethora, however you want to say it, of help, assistant, background people that are helping them within Next Arc Studios, within Janken Justu, the artists, the brain trust, the people that are editing, all of the people that they're talking about who are working behind the scenes, helping this move forward as well. You mentioned, David, you mentioned a Kickstarter a 4 months down the line. I don't want to hold you to it because I don't want to pressure you. I know how things change, but we will definitely be looking for this Kickstarter. I'll make sure I spread it around. Please make sure you send it to me. Ladies and gentlemen, Next Arc Studios, this has been an absolute great interview. I think a lot of good information has come through the comic book hit list, and I hope you guys out there have picked up on it. I hope you guys enjoy it. We will make sure that Next Arc Studios make comments once the video is posted so that you guys can link directly to them. I'll ask them to please drop links in the comments so people can get there, so they can get to you guys got to get to the mail call. You got to get to their email list so you can get into playing the game. You're going to see that graphic pop up here in a bit. And you can also connect with them on IG. You can connect with them on Facebook. Also, you'll see those things pop up as well. So I appreciate you guys affording me the time for the interview. I know you guys are busy. I appreciate it greatly. Thank you very much. Everybody out there, YouTube land, social media land, and the worldwide, this is your boy KhoolTy with Next Arc Studios. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview. I sure did. I had a great time. I am definitely wanting these guys to come back bam, my brother. I am definitely wanting these guys to come back and do another part once the Kickstarter goes, once the game goes. And I'm going to learn to play this game, man. This might be the first game I actually learned to play, but I'm going to learn to play it. But anyway, guys, last comments on the way out.
Thanks so much. I had a great time. Looking forward to checking out some of your music. Hope y'all enjoy. We got free raffles all the time. So if you sign up for the email list, you might win a free copy of the game. And thank y'all for checking it out to the end.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. This is Comic Book Hit List. Thank you guys for joining us. And as you know, peace, and we out one more game.